Hi there, this is Darlene with Salinas Valley Recycles. Today we're going to be learning about recycling and how to recycle right. If you have time, I encourage you to stick around for a few minutes after the presentation for a surprise. If you watched the previous lessons, then you're aware that the Salinas Valley Solid Waste Authority owns and operates the Johnson Canyon Landfill just outside of Gonzales, Sun Street Transfer Station and HHW in Salinas, and the Jolon Road Transfer Station outside of King City. We also maintain and monitor 3 closed landfills located on Lewis Road, Crazy Horse Canyon, and Jolon Road. Do you recall the difference between a waste and resource? A resource is something that can be a source of supply, support, or aid that can be readily drawn upon when needed. Recycling is a great example of this. Take a look at some of the common items you may find around you and look at the decomposition time. Are you surprised by how long it takes for some of these items to actually decompose? Once we bury garbage at the landfill, most items will take decades, if not centuries, to decompose. This is why the landfill should be the last step to disposing, and we should be mindful of what we throw away. Did you know that some plastics may never completely disappear from our environment? That's because they'll break down into smaller pieces, which we call microplastics. So this brings us to the next question. Why recycle? Well, not only is it mandated by state laws, AB 939 and 341, that we have to recycle and have recycling programs in place, while AB 1826 and SB 1383 mandate to recycle all organic material. But there are also many benefits. As we saw previously, we must do what we can to prevent recyclable material from entering landfills, because it preserves space, therefore extending the life of our landfill. This allows us to save money because we won't have to build new cells as often, and it creates a market for companies to sell goods made from recyclables. Creating items from recyclables conserves our natural resources. For example, plastics are made from oil. The oil is extracted from the ground. They are what are referred to as fossil fuels, which accumulated after thousands of years. It is a very slow process, and nature cannot keep up with the rate at which we use all the natural resources. Another example are precious metals and paper made from wood. If we recycle, we create a circular system and reduce pollution as well as save energy. Your local hauler takes all recycling to a material recovery facility to be sorted and then sold to make new products. A materials recovery facility, or MRF, is a large state-of-the-art facility where all the recycling is processed. Machines, such as conveyor belts, magnets, screens, and workers, sort the materials by type and grade and pull out any contaminants. There are about 2 MRFs throughout the Monterey County area, one at the Marina Landfill and one in Monterey. Let's take a look at the paper recycling process as an example. You as a consumer buy an item, and perhaps it comes in a box. So you take your waste paper and you recycle it. Then it goes to the paper mill and it turns into a giant paper roll, as the one you see on the slide. It gets converted through a process in which it ends up again as a new paper product, whether that's a school notebook or another cardboard box perhaps. And then the finished good goes back to you as a consumer. What items are recyclable? There are 4 different categories that you can recycle in your recycling container. The first category is paper. Anything that is made out of paper is recyclable. For example, junk mail, magazines, newspaper, cereal boxes, cardboard boxes, and now even pizza boxes. Keep in mind, however, that dirty paper such as tissues should be disposed in the garbage. The second category is metal. This can include tin cans, aluminum cans, and empty spray cans. These can all be recycled. The third category are plastics. Plastics numbered 1, 2, and 5, which can be things like water bottles, laundry bottles, milk jugs, yogurt containers. These are all recyclable, but they must be empty and clean. Glass is the last category. Only glass bottles and glass jars are recycled. Please make sure not to include drinking glasses, vases, mirrors, or light bulbs in your recycling cart. Everyone in Monterey County has access to curbside recycling. Again, we mentioned there are 4 categories which you can include in your cart. These are glass, plastic, metal, and paper and cardboard products. Remember not to keep them in plastic bags when you put them in your curbside bin, as these harm the machinery at the MRF when they are being processed. Any containers that have food in them should be rinsed out and dried before you put them into the cart to avoid contamination. All cardboard boxes should be broken down and flattened so they don't take up space in the cart. In order for recycling to be effective, we must recycle right. Yes, there's a right way to recycle. This means to make sure that you free your recyclables, no plastic bags, and your items must be clean, empty, and dry. Put items loose directly into your recycling cart. If you have an indoor bin, then you put it out either into your dumpster or your recycling cart. If you do not know if a material is recyclable, we have an app called What Goes Where. You can download the app or visit the website. Type your zip code along with the name of your item, and it will give you the appropriate disposal solution. You can also find a recycling challenge game. Now that you have a general idea about how recycling works, let's take a look at school recycling programs. Typically, there will be a recycling station, which means a recycling bin right beside a trash can. There will be accompanying signage to illustrate what is allowed and what is not. Please pay attention to these signs and do not contaminate the recycling by placing trash in it. Sometimes, an entire recycling truckload has to go to the landfill because of the amount or type of trash mixed in with the recycling. Everyone must do their part for it to be successful. What you put in the bin matters. If your school does not have a recycling program in place, we are happy to help set one up. Once we are contacted, we will set up a site tour and make recommendations on where to set up the recycling stations. When the custodians and school administrators have agreed, we are able to provide bins and training at no cost. Are you thinking, I'm just a student, why are you telling me this? Well, because you have the power to make change. Speak up, create a green team, ask for changes, and everyone can set up and improve recycling at your own home too. For more questions or information, you can contact Salinas Valley Recycles or your local hauler. You may reach us at salinasvalleyrecycles.org or call us at 831-775-3000. And the local haulers in the Monterey County service area are either Republic Services, Waste Management, or Tri-Cities Disposal. Since you were such great listeners, let's do a fun activity. This is Chris Jordan, an artist who used waste to convey an important message. Over the next few slides, you can see some of his art pieces and try to guess what items he used for that artwork. Let's begin. What is this? And no, I'm not talking about just a picture of a dinosaur. I mean, what items do you think this was made from? Plastic bags is correct, if you guessed plastic bags. This depicts 240,000 bags, which are equal to the estimated number which are consumed around the world every 10 seconds. What do you think this is? 2 million plastic bottles that are dumped every 5 minutes. What about this next one? Although cell phones nowadays may look quite different than the ones pictured here, it is estimated that about 426,000 cell phones are retired in the US alone every day. Although at first glance this may look like a painting, this is not a painting. If you look closer, you will notice it's made from aluminum cans. That's right, it's 106,000 aluminum cans, which are thrown into the garbage every 30 seconds. All right, let's take a look at this last one. What do you think this is made from? Do you remember early in the presentation I mentioned microplastics? Well, these are all broken down pieces of plastic. What you see here represents 2.4 million pieces of plastic, equal to the estimated number of pounds of plastic pollution that enter the world's oceans every hour. All the plastic in this image was collected from the Pacific Ocean. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you check out the other presentations in our series. And don't forget to follow us on social media.